Good evening. My name is Tammy. I'm the president of Fun and Adventure at Singles Travel International. And tonight I'm excited to present a cruise that's way off in the future, but it's so appropriate because here we are in October. Everybody's thinking Halloween. And tonight's presentation is called Balkan Bash with Transylvania. Ooh, I'm here tonight with Denise Fraind from Avalon Waterways. And hi, Denise.
Hey there. Hi, Tammy. How are you? Thank you for having me.
It's our pleasure. And what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to go ahead and give the camera over to Denise so that she is able to present to you guys. So give me 1 second and I'll move us right over. Hi, Denise.
Hey there. How are you?
Good. I'm really happy that not only are we going to be able to do this presentation together, um, I want to tell everybody tonight how amazing Avalon Waterways has been in partnership with us because you guys are constantly giving us opportunities so that we can offer single cabins or your own space to single travelers for less. And sure, a lot of cruise lines nowadays are saying that they have a couple of cabins here and a couple of cabins there, but you guys give us a lot of them so that we are able to put them up on the website and our premium members can get in and take advantage. And in this particular one, they're saving over $3,000. So it's very exciting. And we want to thank you because of your generosity and your continued support for single solo travelers. And so with that said, the other thing I'm excited about is that you've actually done this itinerary. So you guys are going to get a firsthand explanation of all the places that you're going to be able to see on this cruise. And at the very end, we'll come back and we'll do some questions and answers when we turn the video off. And yeah, let's get started. Thanks, Denise.
Yeah, thank you for having me. And thank you, Tammy, too, for all of your support. Tammy really works hard for you guys to get these wave single supplements. So I'm just so excited that you choose Avalon. And this itinerary is amazing. I did one very similar to this last year in 2022 in April. And it was wonderful. I traveled with 7 of my girlfriends, and we were on the same ship that you guys are going to be on, which is the Passion. And I'm just going to show you just a few of my pictures of Mayan. I figured we won't go day to day because that's for you to experience. And half of these I can't even pronounce anyway, right? So I figured I'll just highlight the ones that stood out the most for me. And when you look at the itinerary here, you'll see it's August 28th, 2024. It is a 6-night cruise. But what's nice is you have 1 night in Bucharest, you have 2 nights in Brasov, which is the cutest town, which is kind of your entryway. I'm sorry, there's a cat walking right in front of my camera.
A
Uh,
black one. How
yeah,
appropriate.
I know, right? I know. So you have 2 nights in Brasov, which is the cutest little town, and it's where you stay so you can go to Transylvania and Braun Castle, which is Dracula's castle. So it's very cool. I really wanted to do this itinerary because I did most of the others. And just to talk a little bit about this itinerary, it's kind of funny because a lot of people have said to me, oh, you know what? Save that one for your last itinerary after you've done all the others. And oh, you may not like it as much as the Rhine. I have to tell you, this is one of my top 2 river cruises. I totally disagree with everything that they said. It is very scenic. Yes, you don't have the towns maybe right there on either side and the castles like on the Rhine. However, you have the Iron Gates, which I'll show you pictures of, and it's beautiful and lush as you're going down the river. It's funny because my roommate on this trip has never been to Europe, never on a river cruise, and she absolutely loved it. And it was her very first river cruise.
Wow.
Another friend of mine that went, I drag her on all these land tours, right? 2-week land tours, 10-day land tours, never been on a river cruise. And she got on this, her first one, and was like, don't ask me to do a land tour again, Denise. I am sold on these river cruises. So if you have heard the same, please ignore it. It truly was an amazing itinerary. I mean, look at all the places that you're going through. It is a trip of a lifetime. You're doing Serbia, you're doing Bulgaria, you're doing Romania. I mean, it is exotic Europe. And what's nice about these places is that, they were communist for so long. Now they're not, but just the history and all that happens, just with communism, and just to hear both sides of it. And very interesting because you have some of the older tour directors that honestly may miss it a little bit, communism, and then you have the younger generation that they want no part of it. So very interesting, a lot of history, and you're going to get to experience it. So you'll see your one night in Bucharest, and then your 2 nights in Brasov, and you do Transylvania, you do Dracula's Castle, which I'll show you some pictures of, and then you get on the river cruise, and it's 6 nights, and you end in Belgrade. So let's look at a little bit of Avalon, and we'll talk a little bit about river cruising with Avalon. I'm sure you guys have heard about river cruising, and we're like big ship cruising, right? We all have our different little niches, and what makes us different is what you see in the picture here, bottom left-hand side, the cabins. So I'll show you a picture here of the cabins. 80% are just like this. And these are 200 square feet with the beds facing out. And with the wave singles that we have available, you can either take the lower category or you can take one of these cabins. So these are 200 square feet, beds facing out, beds can separate, tons of room in there. We've got USB outlets that we retrofitted during COVID since we had some time to do all this. We have refrigerators in there, flat screen TVs, and that is an 11-foot sliding glass door that opens. And you guys are traveling in the summer. I did this and it was pretty cold, so we didn't open it that much. But summertime is a great time to cruise. You can go up on the top deck and experience the Iron Gates, which I'll show you. So this is the Avalon Passion, which you guys are on. You'll see here on the right-hand side, that is me getting on the Passion. You can see I am a Floridian, right? I get really cold. So that's me with the hat on. And it's just funny. I called my friends. I'm like, are you guys bringing some coats and jackets and hats and gloves? And so there I am, all bundled up. But
They
you'll
brought
see
one for you. They brought a
you
jacket.
know what?
You had
I
it.
panicked. My friend, no, I have so many coats, but I called all my friends the night before. I'm like, have you guys looked at the weather? And thank God they listened to me. So they all brought their hats and coats and poofers and all that good stuff. So
Well, when we're
it was
there in
nice.
August, it won't be that chilly.
No, not at all. You guys will have beautiful
Perfect
weather.
weather.
Yeah, it'll be great. And it was just the only week that we had that I could get all my friends together at once, right? So here's another picture of the cabins, 200 square feet, beds facing out.
Wow.
You have a sofa right here, a chair right here. So it's a really nice
City
cabin.
right here.
Yeah, right.
Church steeple right here. Wow.
Exactly. So this is inside the ship. You have one main bar area, and there's a dance floor, and all 166 people can fit in here. And you'll see that whole concept of the floor to ceiling windows. Same thing in the cabins, the floor to ceiling sliding glass door. The whole ship is like this. It's all open. And you'll see in the back of the bar there is a cappuccino maker. It's the cappuccino maker, the lattes, the hot milk for the hot chocolate. And there are 2 of those machines on board the ship. The bar, we have one main bar that's there. And beer and wine is included for lunch. Beer and wine is included for dinner. And then what we changed for 2023 and continuing on, it instead of having a 2-for-1 happy hour, now an hour before dinner, happy hour is included. So we have about 10 drinks that you can choose from, and it's included for that hour. So that's nice. One thing about Avalon and other river cruise companies is you can bring a bottle of wine on board. They're supposed to charge a corking fee. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Maybe bring an opener with you, but you can buy wine when you're in town and you can bring it on board. The bottom right there is still our main lounge, and you'll see those floor to ceiling windows. And then the back of the main lounge here on the left-hand side, that's where we have our light lunch and our light dinner set up. So a lot of open seating, which is nice. So this just kind of shows you all the places that you can go and get dinner. So we have flex dining on board. It's from 7 to 8:30. And we have all these different areas on the ship that you can go eat. You guys are traveling in the summer, so the weather's going to be great. So 1 or 2 days out of the week, probably 2 days, they'll have the Sky Grill upstairs on the top deck so you can have some lunch outside. If you want to take one of the bikes on board, we have bikes on board with 2 e-bikes, and you can take a picnic lunch. If you want room service, you can do that. And then every day at 4 o'clock, we have tea time. And then we also have the Panorama Bistro, which is our light dinner or light lunch that's set up in the main lounge in the back of the room. The club lounge, that's on every ship. That's in the back of the ship. It's really nice. That's also where the cappuccino maker is. And it's all windows all around, and we have some snacks back there. And we already talked about the complimentary beer, wine, refreshments included for lunch and dinner. Of course, mimosas in the morning. Can't forget that, right? And I think this is one of the big differences with Avalon, are all the different excursions that you can choose from. Even though this is like exotic Europe, you still have a lot of choices to pick from, and they're either classic, active, or discovery excursions, all included in the price. So this is just a picture of Belgrade. It's funny because a lot of these towns took us all by surprise in how gorgeous they were. Belgrade, we walked around here for a very long time. There's a lot to see here. We were here pretty much all day. Did a walking tour. There's a fortress that's right here at the end of this walkway, and they talk all about the history of the fortress. And the town is absolutely gorgeous. Lots of shopping, a lot of gardens. So we had a full day there and walked around. It was beautiful. Don't worry, people won't be bundled up like they are in the picture here. But it was,
to do.
yeah, it was gorgeous.
Just a little historic tidbit. I used to work at Yugoslav Airlines. Right, in the late 80s, early 90s. And so Belgrade was the capital of the country of Yugoslavia. So these countries that we're all visiting that are on this itinerary weren't all Yugoslavia, but
right.
Belgrade was, and now it's split up into 6 different countries: Croatia, Slovenia, Montenegro, etc. So this is what was old Yugoslavia, but it was the capital city. So it's a pretty thriving older capital city in the water.
Right. And that's the Passion that's parked right there. And you're right in the middle of town. And, that was one thing, Tammy, that, we all learned. I mean, I guess you learn this at some point when you're in school, but you forget it. And I mean, just the history with, NATO bombing this area back in the 90s. And, we're like, oh my God, that wasn't that long ago. I mean, just the history of these places. And, the guide that we had called them commie condos, all the communist condos that they built. And now they're actually nice in the way they have them painted and decorated. But It is. It was quite interesting to hear the tour directors talk about communism and just the different aspects of it.
It's
It's,
good perspective for us coming from the US because our news is
yeah,
always our US news, right? So it's great to get
right.
out in the world and meet people who are coming from places that are divergent from the lifestyles that we know. And we really do learn a lot.
Exactly. Exactly. This is one of the fortress that you go to. This was one of the highlights of our trip, and you guys will go here. Look at where the Avalon ship is docked. I mean, it is, we had the most beautiful time here. It was beautiful. It's so quiet. You don't have all these ships here. We were the only one here. We got here pretty early, had a tour of the fortress and some free time. We had some locals there and they're dressed, like they're in the movies, and it was absolutely amazing. So that's included, of course, and you have some time to walk around, and there's a little store there and a museum, and it was absolutely wonderful. So that's also included, but we had quite some time here. I know Tammy and I were looking at this before I got started. This is also one of the highlights of the trips. It's the Iron Gates. It looks like Norwegian fjords that you go through, and you just go in and out of these rock formations. I should have put one of the pictures. There's one that's a picture of a man's face on the side that somebody chiseled. So they talk about that. And it is absolutely beautiful. I was going to try to play a video, but sometimes they don't always work. But just to watch the video go in and out of these rock formations, it's absolutely gorgeous. It was absolutely freezing the day that we did it. So I was in and out of the ship because I'm a baby. Um, but you can sit outside. You guys will have some nice warm weather. You can sit up on the top deck and just experience this. It's amazing. And I actually went back to my cabin, and this is outside of my sliding glass door, and you can watch it from there, but then you're missing the other side. But it was wonderful. I kept on kind of going up and down because we went through this for quite some time. So that's one of the highlights of the trip. Another highlight, of course, is Braun Castle, Dracula's castle. So you are 2 nights in this town of Brasov, which is a quaint town. And then you go to Dracula's castle. So you see it by day, and then you also see it at night because you're having dinner here at the base of the castle. It's funny, one of my coworkers just did this itinerary about 3 weeks ago, and there was a bear, I guess that was in the neighborhood. So they had to stay in this restaurant for like an additional hour until the bear was gone. So we're like, well, that's quite an exciting treat right on your trip. So you get to walk up to the castle. You get a tour of the castle. You go room by room, learn all about, why they call him Count Dracula. I mean, he really, Vlad was his name. He just used to impale people. So that's kind of how he got his name, and people were scared of him because of the way he killed all these people. So he was not in this castle very long, but his family, um, they were in there for quite some time. So it's kind of interesting when you go in this one room and it shows the history of all the people that lived in the castle and owned the castle. So it's quite an experience. You're there for quite some time because, like I said, you have dinner there right at the base, and you get to take all these great pictures of Dracula's castle at night. This was actually in the motor coach. I didn't know much about Romania. It's a ski town, a ski area. And look at the beautiful snow on the mountain. So this was on the drive to Transylvania, and absolutely gorgeous. So it's a ski resort. A lot of people go here during the winter season just to go skiing. You go to a beautiful palace there, which took us all by surprise. It was unbelievable. We could have spent more time there, and you walk around this little ski town. It's absolutely gorgeous. And this is the Sorry, my little finger's in there, but I had to put this in here. Look at that. Transylvania Bakery. This is in the town of Brasov. It's a cute little town. You get to walk around, go into a church there. There's also a synagogue there that you can go visit. It is such a cute little town. So that's just kind of a highlight. I didn't want to go through all of it day by day. You can see when you look at the itinerary, when you're docked at night, when you're cruising at night, and you can read through the day by day itinerary. But I highly recommend this. I said this was in my top, and my 7 friends have traveled the world, and they're like, this was one of our favorite trips because most of us have never been. I think the only place, because we started in Budapest, I think a lot of us were in Budapest, but that was it. So for all of us, these were all new destinations. So for those of you that haven't been on a river cruise, definitely look at this one. The scenery is gorgeous. The history is amazing. And for those of you that have been on some of the river cruises like me, and maybe you were saving this one, I would definitely do this. So that's a little bit about that river cruise, about the Balkan one with Transylvania. And I know, Tammy, you have been trying to do this for such a long time and go to Transylvania, right? For the group. So
That's
here
right.
we go.
That's
Here we
right.
go, right?
And we wanted it at the right price for our
Right.
travelers. So we finally got that. So actually, I'm going to take over for a second, Denise.
Yeah.
So let me show everybody how to get on this cruise. We already have 9 members who booked. So we just have a couple spaces left at that discount price. So I'm going to go ahead and take over the screen here.
Yep.
And I'm on the Singles Travel International website. And I, at the top of the page, I hovered over the all trips, and then I clicked on cruises. Then I scrolled down here to Balkan Bash with Transylvania. When you click learn more, you're able to read all of the information about the cruise, the itinerary, what's included. That's under our highlight section. Another benefit of booking your vacations with Singles Travel International is, first of all, yes, we have great prices, and you're going to be in camaraderie with other single people in your age range. We only have single people over 50, so they're 50s, 60s, 70s, and everybody is single. I am hearing more and more, I take the calls each day from our members who are so disappointed because they're actually following advertisement that they see when they search for a vacation. Companies are saying that they specializes in solo. Well, solo means going alone. And so a lot of people are buying vacations only to get there to find out that they're the only single person. And it's not the same. I mean, single people do everything by themselves. So why be alone on vacation? When you travel with Singles Travel International, you're with a group of singles, and everybody is single. We don't take married people. We don't take people that have partners. Everybody's single. Not because we're matchmaking, but because we want single people to truly have a place, especially single people over 50, to have a safe, comfortable, and fun place where they can see the world. We want to turn you into fearless world travelers. And look, Denise, I see there's the picture on the scene of that face that's carved out of the rock that you were talking about. Anyway, so when you're on this trip page, the date is here. We've got our highlights. Everything is one big long page, so you can scroll up and down and see all of the information, or you can use this navigation bar on the left. So the first 10 members save up to $35.70. So that's the price savings on the Royal Top Deck cabin. That's huge. If you were just to book the cabin directly and pay the supplement that is normally for singles, that's how much more that they would charge. But we've negotiated and gotten that waived. So the itinerary we talked about tonight, frequently asked questions, will give you all the do's and don'ts. Of course, you're welcome to contact the office at any time. And we have a help button at the top of our website over here on the right-hand side where it says help. You just click on that and send us an email. But here's another cool thing about going with Singles Travel International. We have a trip chat and we have a who's going section. So I'll click on the who's going for a minute, and you're able to click on view all, and it takes a minute, but it shows all of the profiles of the people that are booked on the cruise already. Then the chat is private, so we're not going to see anything right now, mainly because there isn't chatting going on quite yet. It's pretty early. But once you make your reservation, you are invited to this section on the website, and only members who booked are able to access that, so you feel comfortable and safe posting your messages about traveling and so on and so forth, because only your fellow travelers are able to see that. So once you, we have a concierge, so we're going to send a leader. For those of you who have traveled with CJ, you already know and love her. All of our tour leaders are called concierges, the concierge team. That's because they're always on duty. They're in uniform, much like the one I'm wearing, name badge, and they work morning to night to make sure that we provide the best vacation experience for our members. And the other thing that makes a difference with Singles Travel International is we do everything for you. So all you have to do is show up and have a good time. When you're ready to make your reservation, you click Price My Trip, or you could click Book Now. Both of those buttons will be on the Learn More page. And then you just go down and find the cabin that you like. So Denise showed a couple different versions, but this is the lowest one. This is the River View cabin. Indigo lower deck, but you can see it's just got windows. Most everybody wants to have the full sliding glass doors, and because of the discount, I think you guys can see that it's more economical to go with the higher cabins because we got the deal. So you're going to save whether you're on the Riverview cabin on Sapphire deck or the Riverview cabin on the top deck. We also have a new way to pay for your cruise. We are now taking pay by check or Zelle if you want to Zelle us the money, and then you're going to save that money that would go to the credit card fees. And so that's something brand new, and we're rolling this out because some of the vacations are in the tens of thousands of dollars, and a credit card fee on top of that is quite substantial. So this way you save the money, you put it in your pocket, and get to spend it on your vacation instead of paying that to a bank. So these are the choices that are on the site. You've got, let me just use the top deck as an example. So we've got on top deck, there's a Riverview cabin with sliding glass door, and that's going to be your own space, pay by check or Zelle. And that's $66.49, right? Or you can do Riverview cabin, sliding glass door, your own space, and you're going to pay by credit card. You'll pay the whole thing by credit card. The pay by check or Zelle is you put the deposit down, and then the balance is paid by those means. So it saves you about $500 or $400 here. Then if you do the Riverview sliding glass door, your own space, and you're not a premium member, that's where you really see the difference. So as a non-premium member, you're paying $10,159 for this vacation. So for those of you who are not familiar with our checkout page, that's why we have 3 options for each of those categories. The ship only has 3 decks and 3 types of categories. You would click deposit only to check out. If I'm going to take this one here, I think I'm going to go for the least expensive. Click deposit only. I'm not a premium member yet, so I have a choice of either an annual membership for $397 or a lifetime membership for $697. That is mandatory if you choose one of the premium offers here. Anything that has special offer with the Starburst and says premium deal, then you've got to be a premium member. But we make it easy. You're welcome to add that premium membership when you check out. So I would add my annual and then just complete the trip purchase. So that makes it super easy. And well, we've got a lot of people here tonight with us, and I want to thank you, Denise. But Denise and I are going to hang out, and we're going to do questions and answers with those who are here in the room with us tonight. If you're watching this on YouTube, thanks for joining, and please be sure to stop by our website at www.singlestravelintl.com. We can't wait to meet you live and in person.